Hello, everyone, and welcome to season 2 of the Agreeable Gray Area podcast. As always, I am your host, Elle. I hope you all had an amazing break. I know I did. I was able to get an audio interface, a thing that I literally just learned a couple of weeks ago. I am learning on the job. So what an audio interface is, it's essentially something I actually can't even explain it to you that well. It's like just something to help make the audio better, more clear. You can, control the gain, you control the volume and everything. See, like my microphone, it's a Shure MV7. So it has the ability to connect via USB-C and XLR cables. And I've been using a USB-C connection this entire time. Sorry, I feel like I'm just taking the mask over my face. It's like, yes, this podcast has been a fraud the whole time. So I'm using the XLR cable into the audio interface. And what I like about this particular audio interface is that it has the capabilities to connect two microphones to two XLR cables to it. And as I've mentioned before, at the season 1 finale, I do want to have interviews for this season, so I am hoping that will definitely happen. Well, I'm not hoping, it will. Well, I'm hoping to, but it also will happen. So I love the audio now. Not like I hated it before, but like I definitely hear a difference, and it's actually really awesome. I feel like I'm learning on the job, but I am doing it. Considering that this is a job that doesn't pay me, so I can totally learn on the job. And if you get mad at me, then, tough tits. You ain't learning. Kidding. Not really. So, tonight's episode, I wanted to talk about motivation and how we harness motivation's mythical powers in order to propel us into the next phase in our life or to use it to become the person or people that we want to be. And I don't use the word mythical lightly because I totally believe that motivation is a myth. The reason why I consider motivation a myth, it's because it's not the thing that you need to rely on. We all go through periods when especially, it's the beginning of the year. You might be having those new year, new me thoughts. You might be signing up for the gym. You might be, taking your guitar out of the closet, restringing it, telling yourself that this will be the year because you went to a concert recently and it brought back memories that you wanted to play guitar again. And all that is great. It's just you can't solely rely on motivation to get you to the next level. Motivation is like those speed pads on the ground on Mario Kart. Like, you can't play Mario Kart solely using those speed ramps or pads. Hold on a second. Let me find out what they're even called. So I was actually right. They're called boost pads or turbo tiles or what was the other term? Oh, dash panels. I don't know. I like turbo tiles the most. So we're going to go with that. Yeah, you can't solely play Mario Kart using the turbo tiles. You have to hold on to A and rev up that engine, keep going. And the turbo tiles are there to, just help you along a little bit more. And that's kind of how I see motivation. So my trainer is taking a different approach to my workouts. With that said, he's doing more of a hands-off approach, which is kind of good for me because it definitely makes me more accountable for myself, which is, very necessary because I can't just rely on somebody to force me to work out. Granted, yeah, I pay him, so it's his job. But, it's something that I personally need to do for myself. So, of course, there's going to be a day when I'm going to no longer have a personal trainer. So, it's really good that I've been, going to the gym myself. Like, yeah, granted, yeah, it's more workouts he's given me, but I go to the gym myself, and I've just been trying to hold myself accountable. I won't lie, because it's more of a hands-off approach, I've been skimping on the workouts a bit. I haven't been going as hard. I've been not doing all of the workouts. Sometimes at the end of the workout, he'd put like, oh, now do a 30-minute incline walk. Like, it's 10 o'clock. The gym's closing. Oh, well, I guess I can't do that. I did have a meeting with him yesterday, and he was saying that, he was happy that I've been going to the gym and holding myself accountable. He wasn't too happy that I've been cheating the workouts. And it was simply because I only had myself to motivate myself. But that's not how this works, because I'm only going to be able to get the results for as much as I put in. And if I'm not putting in the right amount of work, if I'm not going as heavy as I can, if I'm not doing all of the workouts, then the results will show. Yeah, everybody, of course, is saying that, I look great and all that, which is nice. I'm not going to deny that. But just other people telling me that I look great isn't really going to make me look as good as I want to look. Yeah, you're telling me I look great. I want to look extraordinary. So I have to, whether I am motivated or not, get my ass to the gym, get my ass to the field, get my ass wherever it is I need to get my ass that day to work out and get the shit done that I need to get done. So that conversation definitely lit a fire under my ass. You can say that that's motivation. It's more so, and yeah, it did definitely motivate me, but it's not all that I'm relying on. It's good to get a kick in the pants every so often, absolutely. But since this is already something that, working out is already something that I'm doing, it's just going to help push me further. Granted, I haven't, gone to the next step yet. So I'll let y'all know once I get to that next step where I am, when I get to the part where I'm just kicking every single workout program's butt. I'm not there yet. Right now, me and this workout program, we're just, we're friends. I need to, start kicking its ass. So I say all that to say, motivation is a great way to have you start. Motivation is a terrible reason to keep you going. I know I kind of just contradicted myself. What I'm trying to say is, at the beginning of starting something new, motivation can kind of help start you. But to keep you there, you can't just keep relying on those turbo tiles to keep coming. Because there's going to come a time where you're just lacking those levels of motivation. This is why it's good to have accountability partners, friends who are in similar interests, similar likes and dislikes. I'll be straight up honest with y'all. I've been procrastinating starting back this podcast. There was a little tiny part of me that was thinking, well, I did 10 episodes, I am done. But there was a larger part of me that was no, I told way too many people about it because my ass decided to share it on social media. Yes, I know it was me telling me to put it on social media. I didn't really expect the amount of attention I got. I'm not trying to say it was massive, but it was definitely more than I thought. I guess because my expectations are always at 0. So it's oh my goodness, one listener to me is equates to 2,000 because it's like, oh my gosh, you actually want to hear what I have to say? That's crazy. Yeah, like because of that, because I shared it, it definitely helped motivate me to continue it again, because I would just feel like a piece of shit if I didn't continue it. Like I feel like an asshole. Like I'd feel like a liar, and I can't do that. That's not cool. So definitely having like accountability partners, whether they're online or whether they are in person, definitely have those accountability people. I have accountability people for my workouts, and one of my good friends, Gil, is my accountability person for my podcast, whether he knows it or not. I'm just calling him out there right now, manifesting it. He said it was okay. So I am just going to take all the advantage of that because I desperately need that. I'm going to no longer act as if I got everything under control. It's like, if you want to be my accountability person, be my guest. Because I need all the help. If you have hope and faith in me, please let me know, because I need all of that. Because I'm out here saying I was surprised that people actually listened to my podcast after sharing it on social media. I was not expecting that. I am just eternally grateful, for sure, for sure. So I did want to circle back onto how motivation is exactly a myth. I wanted to iterate how we tend to do things whether we like it or not. For example, work. A lot of us don't like our jobs. Fortunately, I'm not one of them. I know that's like weird to say. I actually do like my job. I'm not just saying that on the off chance one of my coworkers listens to this, but I actually do like my job. Like I don't really have many complaints. But I have been at companies. I have worked at companies that were just absolute hellscapes. And the reason why a lot of us endure going to an absolute hellscape of a job is because of money. You get a paycheck at the end of every 2 weeks or every week, twice a month, once a month, however. You get a paycheck. With this money from the paycheck, you can do the things that you want to do, whether it's go on vacation, buy food, or, invest it in stocks so you don't have to hopefully work again. Whatever it is that you do. You know how y'all friggin' use money. So, but you don't want to go to work every day. I'm sure there's more days you don't want to go to work than days you do want to go to work for some of you. But you still, wake up every day and put on your clothes and go to the office if you have to, be there physically. Regardless, there's some of you, I'm sure, who work from home and you still don't like, aspects of your job, but you do it because it gives you a paycheck. It gives you money. So you endure this for the money, because with the money, it brings you the things that you want. Of course, like, money is a massive motivator. I'm not trying to downplay it or mitigate it at all. But you still endure the bullshit. If there's something that you want to do, you have to know that you're going to have to endure some level of bullshit. Whether it's starting a company, whether it's starting a new hobby, there's going to be a dip in motivation. There's going to be a dip in happiness. There's going to be a dip in drive. And you just have to embrace the suck. I'm sure you've heard that before in some YouTuber, entrepreneurial guy. And it's true. You do have to. You have to embrace that level of annoyance, that level of frustration. You have to be ready for that, for your brain to say, stop doing this. Why are you doing this? This is pointless. Why are you going heavier on the weights? Why are you sitting in front of your laptop recording a podcast like you know shit? I don't know about you, but my brain's an asshole. I've mentioned this before on the podcast. I call it my asshole brain. My therapist calls it depression. Tomato, tomato. But one thing you can do with your brain that's kind of cool is you can sort of think whatever you want to think. So, oh god, like, should I share this? Whatever, I'll share it. Oh man, I probably share this with like one or two people. So, when I had a consultation with my trainer, he asked me like, what kind of body do I want? And I showed him some like Instagram influencers and blah 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 yada yada. And he was like, "Okay, cool, cool." And then I straight up said, "Honestly, I want a body that's thin enough to attract white guys, but still thick enough to attract black guys." I just said it straight up like that, and he goes, "That slim thick, I got you." And it felt nice. It felt nice to like just be able to say something so shallow and it to be receptive. I guess it's because I was turning 30. And also, I'm a woman, and I feel like we have to like present ourselves, especially like a black woman. I feel like we always have to present ourselves in like a level of class, so to speak. And I'm just sitting here saying, I just want a lot of men to like me, or I just want some really hot dudes. I just want to be hot so I can attract hot guys. And like, I just felt like it was so shallow, but he honestly would still bring that up in some of our workout routines. He was like, "Hey, don't you still want to be thin enough to attract white guys and thick enough to attract black guys?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, shut up, Marcus." but, but at the same time, yeah, I do. I can't deny that. Sorry, not sorry for being attracted to men. There are times when to just get my ass into the gym, I just tell myself that. It's like, yo, you're hot now, but you gotta stay hot. I know what it's like to have gained a lot of weight, lost the weight, and then gained it right back. And I've finally lost the weight again. Like in 2019, I was like, 30 pounds heavier than I am now. So I've lost the weight. And I don't want to go back to where I was. Like, I was at like 190 pounds. Right now I'm like 155, 157. So like 35 pounds or so, whatever, math. I don't want to go back to that. I keep a picture of myself at 190 pounds in my body goals folder. I have like a gallery folder on my phone just to constantly remind myself not to go back to that again. It wasn't just necessarily the weight, it was also how I was feeling. I was in a very dark time at that time, and I didn't even realize just how bad of a time I was in. So I look at that picture every so often just to remind myself not to go back there. It's not fun. It wasn't fun at all. My motivations are evil and shallow, I like to say, just to make it a little bit more fun. I feel as though when we were all growing up, we all believed that everybody was inherently good. We all had positive hopes and everything. And I'm not trying to sound like a nihilist or cynical or anything. I consider myself like a realistic optimist. I'm optimistic about the future. I'm also a realist, and I'm not holding my breath that the future that we're going into is going to be, all daisies and roses. So we were always taught to not think, we were essentially taught to be delivered from temptation. And I'm not saying that I am a total like hedonistic human being. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. What I'm trying to say is I use whatever helps me get to the next level. Am I out here, trying to steal women's husbands? No. But I would like to have the body and looks to do so if I wanted. That's a difference. That's a thought that I have just to get my ass in the gym. That's a thought that I have to continue doing what I'm doing, whether it's, podcasting, working out, studying, because, I go and study like different things, especially marketing things, like to be a better like email marketer, web developer. Not necessarily, I'm not doing this to steal your husband, but my motivations don't necessarily have to make sense. If it's what gets me to where I need to go, then whatever, I'll take that thought. I was tired of thinking like, oh, I want to, lose weight to be healthier, to feel more confident, no, that's all cute and everything. And, I'm old, so like I already knew that working out and exercising is going to boost my confidence, it's going to make me feel better. Like I already knew that shit. Like you can't tell a cigarette smoker that cigarettes are bad for them. They already know that. Like what's the point of doing that? So that's how I saw like, working out and getting to like the next level. And I was thinking, well, what can I think to get me to the next levels? Like, what is it that I really want? What are my desires that I'm way too afraid to actually say or admit? And that's what I told my trainer. That's what I'm telling y'all, that it's okay to, think these things. And I might have mentioned this on a previous episode. My bad for not actually going back and listening to my episodes. I meant to. It doesn't matter what you think as long as you don't act on them. Like if you actually covet your neighbor's wife, don't actually try to take her away from her husband. Don't actually try to pursue her. But if it gets you to, do jump ropes in your front yard, in your driveway or on the street, maybe your neighbor's wife is checking you out. And that's, a reason for you to, do some jump ropes in the front. You're getting your workout, you're gaining more confidence, and you're using that as a motivation. Like, who the hell cares? Like, who cares? You don't have to tell your neighbor. You don't have to tell your neighbor's wife. So it doesn't really matter. With all that, I hope that this episode motivates you to... Pardon me, I had to laugh at that. I really hope this episode motivates you to not think so seriously about your next endeavor. I know I use exercise as a common theme, as a common metaphor. It's because it's easy. It's something that I know pretty well, and it's something that everyone can relate to. So, deal. I do hope that you all, whatever it is that you want to pursue, I really hope that you go ahead and pursue that and use whatever thought, whatever fantasy, whatever thing to help you get to the next level, to actually start that thing. If you want to start making more money and get a promotion, pretend that somebody else is also gunning for that position. It'll probably make you work harder. If somebody, at school is bigger than you and you feel a little bit intimidated, maybe, work out. So on the off chance that you get into an altercation with this person, which I highly doubt you will, but, you could pretend you can at least, knock that bitch out. Pretend whatever, just use your imagination. You used to use it as a kid. Use your imagination now. If I do this podcast, then I'll be closer to becoming queen of podcasts. I don't know, whatever. Use your imagination to its full potential for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. We don't use our imagination much anymore, so you might as well just use it to better yourself. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. I am signing off. Thank you so much for your patience, and I will see you on the next episode. Ciao.